Hi everyone. Let us go through the next lesson, which is on item creation. So after completing this lesson, we should be able to identify the setup steps for creating an item, explain lifecycle phases and root item classes, understand item terminologies, and we should also be able to create an item. And as part of the demonstration, we will see how we can create an item. So these are the topics. The first topic is on item setup steps. This particular section basically discusses the steps required for creating an item. So these are the prerequisite steps for creating an item. That is, create an organization, create a unit of measure, adding lifecycle phases, configuring default item class. So the first two steps, that is create an organization and create a unit of measure, we've already have covered in one of the previous lessons. And the next step is on adding lifecycle phases. As an item goes through multiple stages, that is from prototype to obsolete. So we will be covering this topic shortly. There is a detailed slide on it. And configuring default item class. So again, we are going to cover this in detail in the next couple of slides. But just to give a brief introduction on this. So in Fusion applications, all items must belong to a item class. And Oracle Fusion provides a predefined item class called as root item class. So in case if you are a product hub customer, we can create additional item classes under that particular root item class, that is under that particular default item class, which is root item class. But if you do not have the product hub customer license, that is for all other Fusion application customers, we can use the default root item class only. So we will be covering that shortly in next couple of slides as well. So the next topic is on lifecycle phases and item classes. So this particular diagram, as you could see on the slide, depicts 4 phases of item lifecycle, that is the design phase, prototype, production, and obsolete. So the sequential lifecycle phases enable tracking and control the lifecycle phases of items. So each phase represents a set of tasks and deliverables that are required before promoting an item to the next phase. So for example, for an item that can be used in the production, the representative lifecycle phase should be production. So some of the organizations might want to use different terminologies, saying instead of production, you want to use a terminology, the lifecycle phase as in manufacturing, you could do that as well. But behind the scenes, the lifecycle phase type is still will be these 4 lifecycle phase types, that is design, pre-production or prototype, production, and obsolete. So behind the scenes, the phase types will be still these 4, that is design, pre-production or prototype, production, and obsolete. So Fusion applications provide production as a predefined item class phase that can be assigned to any item class. So in case the organization or the business needs an additional item lifecycle phase, we could go ahead and create a additional lifecycle phase and associate them to an item class. So how do we create a lifecycle phase? So we need to access this manage lifecycle phases from setup and maintenance, that is using the functional setup manager, which we have gone through in the previous one of the previous lessons. So we will see this as part of the demonstration as well shortly. And as you could see in this particular screenshot, it is basically it is editing the default item class, that is root item class page. So we could access this page also from the functional setup manager or FSM. As we have discussed earlier, so in Fusion applications, all items must belong to an item class. That is mandatory. We have to map an item class to any item when it is getting created. So Oracle Fusion provides a predefined item class called as root item class. So the Product Hub customers can create additional item classes as child item classes of this particular default item class, that is root item class. And all other Fusion application customers can assign the items to this particular root item class only, which is the default item class. So the next topic is on item terminology. So these are the three different terminologies which we are going to discuss: item, item revision, item attributes. So items, as you all know, are used to represent products and services that you basically sell or transact, or resources that you maintain, and components that you make up your products and services. And each item has several standard operational attributes that determine the behavior of the item with respect to various functions such as purchasing, inventory management, etc. So inventory revision allows you to track whatever changes are made to that particular item or its data over a period of time, and it generally represents a form or a fit or a function of that particular item at a given point in time. So we will be discussing about item attributes in far more detail in the next couple of slides, but it basically depicts the attributes which describe a product or a service in terms of its characteristics, features, or properties. So we will be seeing, we will be understanding what exactly we mean by operational attributes and transactional item attributes in the next couple of slides. So the additional item terminologies include item relationships, which basically enable you to relate an item to another item for various contexts. Then you have this item class. As we've discussed item class before, item class, it's basically a classification hierarchy to logically group products sharing similar characteristics to create a product taxonomy. The next one you have is item catalog. There is a detailed lesson on item catalog next. It's basically a hierarchy for categorizing products belonging to similar product families. And then you have this product structure, or it's also popularly called as bill of materials or BOM. It's basically a product hierarchy consisting of child items that make up an end item. So coming to the next topic, which is on item attributes. So these are the attributes are named entities whose values describe the various qualities of a product item. So the attributes, the different type of attributes available are the main attributes, operational attributes, additional information attributes and transactional attributes. So what is a main attribute? So the main attributes are common to all items and are part of items data model. They basically describe essential aspects of the item. That is, just to give an example, item number, description, long description, status, life cycle phase, the approval status, the revision, item class, unit of measure. These are all part of main attributes. So what do we have? What is the significance of these operational attributes? So operational attributes are part of the items data model. They determine the behavior of the item with respect to various Fusion applications, such as Oracle Fusion Purchasing or Fusion Inventory, Oracle Order Management. So we can choose the control level for operational attributes on the Manage Operational Attributes control page, which we will see during the demonstration as well. And some of the examples with respect to different applications include, from the inventory point of view, an example of operational attribute will be the shelf life days. And from an order management application point of view, the shippable flag is one of the example of this operational attribute. And from purchasing point of view, negotiation required is one of the operational attribute. And from the receiving point of view, whether we want to allow substitute receipts is one of the operational attribute. So these are the examples of the operational attributes with respect to each Fusion application. And then we could create additional information attributes as well, which are based on the DFFs rather than extensible flex fields. So the DFFs, which we have already covered in one of the previous lesson. So the descriptive flex fields, or DFFs as it is popularly called as, can have only one context available at a single time, whereas extensible flex fields can have multiple contexts available. So if you need only a single category and usage, then descriptive flex fields are sufficient. So we can create descriptive flex fields by using the tasks in the setup and maintenance work area. We already have seen this in one of the previous lessons. So we are not going to cover that again in detail now here. Then we have transactional attributes. So some of the transactional oriented Fusion applications require to capture values specific to an item in the transaction context. So just to give an example, if an organization has implemented Oracle SCM Cloud and is planning to sell a car, or that particular organization is maybe an automobile dealer and is planning to sell cars, then if they need to capture the VIN number or the license plate number of the specific car sold as part of the transaction. So they can use these transactional attributes for that particular purpose. But in case if the same dealer is selling, say, the floor mats, etc., he does not have to capture that data. But in case if the dealer is selling a car, he can capture the VIN number or the license plate number as part of this particular transactional, under this transactional, using this transactional attributes. So some of the metadata values when you're defining that can be used for defining an attribute, that is, you can see required. It basically indicates whether an attribute is required for a specific transaction or not. And what is the default value? It indicates the default value of that particular attribute. The next one we have is value set, which indicates the value set associated with that particular attribute. And then we have read only, which indicates whether that attribute is read only, that is, it cannot be edited. So the next topic is on item creation. So as you could see on this particular screenshot, we can see the manage items page, and they highlighted a region. If you click on the create item or the plus icon, if you click on that, you should be able to create a new item. And when you're creating an item, we can apply predefined templates that basically provide all the basic information which is required to create an item quickly. So instead of providing the values for each and every attribute, we can use or map a particular template to an item, and we can quickly create an item. So when you're creating an item, we can also copy from an existing product record to create a new item. And once you click on create item, you could create multiple items as well. So I will stress on this point when we are actually going through the demonstration. And you could also create items through spreadsheet based interface as well. And we can perform error check and validation function in real time when you're creating a product to ensure complete product definition and eliminate potential rework and downstream errors. So we will see this as part of the lesson integration, which we are going to discuss later. So we are going to cover that as part of the integration related lesson as well. So the next topic is on template. So what is a template? A template is a defined set of attribute values used for item creation, or used during item creation. So when we apply a template to an item, all the attributes will be defaulted every time we create an item using that particular template, for that particular organization. So all the fields will be defaulted from that particular template. And we have to templates are created for each item class and are specific to organization, and they are inherited down the item class hierarchy. So we can define both operational attributes and user defined attributes for each template. So in case if you're creating multiple items simultaneously instead of creating one, as you could see on this particular screenshot, you can provide the item name and item description, and you could quickly create multiple items as well. So when you're copying the items, that is, if you select create an item from a copy, then these are the ones which can be copied, that is attributes, relationships, structures, organization assignments, and attachments. So we can specify what all things we want to copy when you are creating an item from a copy of an existing item. So there is a small demonstration on how to create an item. Let us do that, and let us go to the instance now. So this is, I'm currently on the home page on the instance. So let us click on the product management icon or menu on the home page, and let us click on product information management submenu. So on the task panel, you could see on the right hand side there is a task panel. Click on the task panel and click on create item. So as soon as you click on create item, you need to select an organization. So let us select an organization as operations. And the point here I want to stress is number of items. So whether you want to create multiple items or whether you want to create one single item, right? So if I want to create one single item, I'll have to provide here the field value as 1. And you would also have to select whether you are trying to create a new item all by yourself or you want to create an item copying from an existing item. So I'm trying, but the default one is create new. So I've selected create new, and the item class, let us provide it as the default item class, the root item class. So I'm leaving the template, the finished goods. I'm not making any change here. So let it be a finished goods. Let us apply the finished goods template only. So click on OK. And now you could provide an item name, say provide sample item, and you could provide with your initials underscore VA, and sample item creation is the description. And you could see here the item status active. So let it be item status as active, life cycle phase as production, and user item type finished goods is coming from the template. And you could see the various attributes. If you click on the specifications, so some of the attributes, you could see important attributes from sales and order management. So whether this particular item would be customer ordered enabled, yes, and whether it is a shippable item or not, all these, whether it is enabled for order management, transaction. So all these important attributes you could see, and now you could click on save. So we have created an item, sample item underscore VA. So if you want to view this item, let us go to the task panel. So I'm clicking on save and close. So if you want to view this item again, go to the task panel, go to manage items, and you could query for this particular item using search. So and in the item field, I'm providing the value sample item underscore VA. Click on search. So you could see this particular item has been created. So we have created this particular item, and if you go to the associations page or on the associations tab, you can associate this particular item to multiple inventory organizations. Say if you want to associate this with the organization 001, say for example, so search for 001 and associate that with that particular organization Seattle. Organization name is Seattle in this case. So you could see I have associated with this with the organization 001 as well. So now you could associate with 002 as well. Click on search and click on done. So now we have created an item, and we also have associated that particular item to multiple organizations, that is 001 and 002 as well, and click on save. So now you could see here the life cycle phase here is production. So instead of using this seeded or the default lifecycle phase, that is production, if you want to create a custom lifecycle phase based on the requirements at an organization you're implementing, what we can do is, let us go to the home page. And scroll down, and you could see here setup and maintenance. Click on setup and maintenance. We have already covered this particular topic, functional setup manager, how to access this FSM or functional setup manager earlier. So now in the offerings, so let us select manufacturing and supply chain management on the left hand side. So in the drop down, and select items as the functional area. So once you select items as the functional area, then on the right hand side, by default it will be showing the required task only. You change it to all tasks, then you'll be able to see far more tasks. So if you want to create a custom lifecycle phase, so click on manage lifecycle phases task, and you should be able to see all the existing lifecycle phases as well. So if you want to create a custom lifecycle phase, say suppose, so click on this particular plus sign, and you should be able to create a new lifecycle phase. So I'm providing a lifecycle phase, say a sequence. There is no significance with respect to the sequence field. It doesn't have any relevance as such. So let us say production VA. So I'm adding a phase production VA, and the phase code is production VA and or underscore VA. So phase type, in this particular drop down, you'll only see these 4 phase types as we discussed during the presentation. That is, it could be a design phase, pre-production or prototype phase, production phase, or obsolete phase type. So we could select any of these phase types only. That is, behind the scenes, only these phase types are supported. Say suppose, let us, for this we are selecting the phase type as production. Click on save. So we have created a custom lifecycle phase, and we need to associate this lifecycle phase, whichever we create, to the root item class. So now say how do we access or and view the task, the root item class? So let us go to the task manage default item class. So we'll be straight away going to the root item class because that is the default item class. And you could see here, so the various the item class, and you could see the life cycle phases which have been associated with this particular root item class. So we have created one root item class. So let us select, say, production, and click on search. So we could associate this production VA, the custom lifecycle phase which we have created, and associate with this particular root item class as well. So once you associate this lifecycle phase with this particular root item class, then when you're creating an item, that point of the time we could select the lifecycle phase as production VA as well. So I'm not associating at this point of the time, clicking on cancel. But based on the requirements, you could create that as well. And you could see what are the item templates which have been associated with this particular root item class as well. So you could see these are the various templates which have been associated. So we have to create the item templates, and once you create the item templates, we need to associate those item templates in this particular section. So this is the finished goods templates which we have used. And remember, which we have discussed, these are specific to the organization. Okay, and now that we have seen this, let us go ahead and try creating multiple items simultaneously. So go to the home page, go to the product management, click on product information management, and on the task panel, if you click on create item, and if you select the organization as say operations, and here in the number of items, say I'll put the value as 5, and the item class is root item class. So I'm selecting it as the template as finished goods only. Click on OK. So you could see here, you could provide the item name and description, and you should be able to create multiple items simultaneously. And all the values, rest of the values are going to get defaulted based on the template, that is finished goods template. Okay, so click on cancel. This is how you could create multiple items simultaneously from the UI, using the UI as well. So in one of the topics or lessons, we will be covering how we could create multiple items using file-based data loader as well. And you could also use web services as well. So we will talk about that during the integration related lesson. Let us go back to the presentation. There is a practice 5-1 on how to create a basic item. So as part of this particular practice, you will be able to you will be creating a new item using the root item class. So as part of this lesson, we have learned how to identify the setup steps necessary to create a basic item. And we also have discussed the various lifecycle phases and root item classes. We have discussed about the various item terminologies, and we also have seen how to create an item. So thanks everyone.